Now today in this video lecture we would be going through tubular reactor and packed bed reactor, right? And before this video lecture we have gone through batch reactors, right, and CSTR reactors. And what we did and what we basically doing in this chapter is we are applying mole balance equation to different reactors, right, and we are deriving relations using which we can find the time or the reactor volume, right, required to convert the specified amount of reactants into products, right. So now we'll consider tubular reactor and we will derive a relation using which we can find the rate of reaction, right, because conversion of reactant into products is nothing but the rate of reaction. So we would be deriving relation between rate of reaction and the reactor volume, right, and using which then we can find, if you know the rate of reaction, you can find the reactor volume, right, required to convert the given amount of reactants into products, right. Basically that is our aim, right, to derive such equations, right. So tubular reactor, tubular simply means tube, right. Tubular comes from the word tube and we know tube is cylindrical in shape, right. So tubular reactors consist of pipes that are cylindrical in shape, right, and mostly these tubular reactors you will see in gas phase reactions, right. Gas phase reactions, for example, Haber's process for the manufacture of ammonia, right. We have already done this in school, Haber's process for the manufacture of ammonia. If you see the plant where this Haber's process is carried out or where the ammonia is manufactured, you will see various cylindrical pipes, right, in that industrial arrangement for the manufacture of ammonia, right. Those cylindrical pipes are your tubular reactors, right, and they are, as I said, they are used in gas phase reactions. So in Haber's-Bosch process, nitrogen reacts with hydrogen to give ammonia. All these reactants and products are gases, right. And you can see on internet the plant, right, the diagram of plant, or where actually this production is done for ammonia. You can look at the plant, right, and there you will see these cylinders, right, which are tubular reactors, right. So tubular reactors, they are cylindrical pipes. These are cylindrical pipes, right, and mainly gas phase reactions are done. Gas phase reactions, right. Example is your Haber's process that I have discussed, right. So this is a little introduction to it, right. And if as I said, it's a cylindrical pipe, consists of a cylindrical pipe. This is how cylindrical pipe looks like, right, and this is the axis, this is the axis, right, going along the length of this cylindrical pipe, right. Now in this cylindrical pipe, reactants are fed from one end, and from the other end we get products, right. So reactants are fed from this end, right, and products will come out from this end. And while reactants travel the length, right, axial length of this reactor, they will continuously react inside the reactor. That is, reactants will get continuously consumed inside the reactor, right. This is an important point for this reactor. Reactants will get continuously consumed, right, in tubular reactors, thereby concentration of reactants continuously change. Concentration of reactants continuously change, right, which changes the rate of reaction. We'll just understand this, which changes the rate of reaction. I'll just write ROR for rate of reaction. right? So when reactants pass along the along the axial length, right, along the axis of the cylinder, they continuously react, right? Since they are continuously reacting, so they get consumed, right? When they are getting consumed, that means the concentration of reactants inside the cylinder is going down, right? And since we know that as per law of mass action, the rate of reaction depends on the concentration of reactants, right? So here the concentration of reactants is going down, that is, the concentration of reactants is changing continuously, right? Inside the cylinder, the concentration of reactants is changing continuously. That will continuously change the rate of reaction, right? And this is, since I said that the rate of reaction will continuously change inside the cylindrical pipe, right? If you remember, we have studied this in school chemistry when we studied about the instantaneous rate of reaction. We said that since the rate of reaction depends on the concentration of reactants, right, and the concentration of reactants while the reaction is in progress continuously goes down. If the concentration of reactants goes down, the rate of reaction, which as per law of mass action depends on the concentration of reactants, will also continuously go down and is changing. So in order to find, since the rate of reaction is continuously changing, in order to determine the rate of reaction, what we used to do in instantaneous rate of reaction is we will consider a small time dt, during which the rate of reaction will remain constant, right? And using this we will obtain an expression, right, to find the rate of reaction, right? And it's dx upon dt, if you remember, and that can be integrated, right, later. So if you want to understand the instantaneous rate of reaction, you can click on the link that you see above in the video, right, so that it will take you to the instantaneous rate of reaction that we have studied in school, right? That will clear your concept if you want. So here also the situation is same, right? Concentration of reactants are continuously changing, that is changing the rate of reaction, right? So inside the reactor volume, right, V, the concentration of reactants is continuously changing, right? So what we will do is, in order to find the mole balance equation, right, mole balance equation says that what is going in, Fj0 minus what is going in, right, Fj0, Fji, Fj1, right, and what is coming out, right, plus rate of generation R, right, rate of generation is equals to rate of accumulation, right? This is what the mole balance equation says, right? Inside the volume, since we are doing this inside the volume of the reactor, it would be V dV, right, is equals to dnj upon dt, right? So in this mole balance equation, we need to find the rate of generation term that depends on the rate of reaction, right? And this dnj upon dt, that is rate of accumulation inside this reactor, right, would be 0 because it's continuously reactants are flowing, right? So this accumulation part would be 0, right? So this would be 0, right? We need to find this. Let's write it. This dnj upon dt is equals to 0. We need to find this, right? Now what we will do in order to find this, that is the rate of reaction. This Rj means the rate of reaction, right? And this is dV, the volume, right? So here, since I said that the rate of reaction is continuously changing, right? So we cannot determine the rate of reaction. What we actually get, if you'll find the rate of reaction in this entire volume, is an average rate of reaction. So in order to find the rate of reaction at any point of time, right, or at any particular volume, what we consider is, we will consider a small volume. Like in instantaneous rate of reaction, we used to consider small time dt, right, during which the rate of reaction will remain constant. In this case, we will consider small volume delta V, in which the rate of reaction, right, in that volume the rate of reaction will remain constant, right. So we will consider this. This volume delta V, right, and in this volume delta V the rate of reaction will remain constant, right. So once you know this, now we can find in this small volume delta V, we need to find the rate of generation, right, that depends on the rate of reaction R, right. Since I said that this delta G is equals to 0 to V Rj dV, right. Now since I said that in this small volume delta V, right, in this small volume delta V the rate of reaction is constant, right. Since this quantity is constant, so we can take this out of the integral, right. This is simple integral calculus techniques, right. So we will integrate 0, this volume is from V to V plus delta V. This is your volume delta V, right. So 0 to delta V dV, this will come out to be Rj, right, delta V. So this is your expression for rate of generation. This is your expression for rate of generation that you will put here, right. So this is your molar flow, molar rate of flow inside, Fj is for outside, right, and this is for rate of generation, we have calculated it. Now this flow we will consider in this volume. We are considering everything in this small volume, so this Fj0 would be considered in this small volume only, right. So it would be Fjv, and here flow out, rate of flow out would be Fj plus Fj V plus delta V, right, Fj V plus delta V, here Fj V, right. So we'll put all the values here, Fj V, right, minus Fj V plus delta V plus the value of this is calculated out to be Rj, rate of reaction delta V, right, and this is 0, rate of this accumulation is 0. So now rearranging this equation, we will get Fj V plus delta V is minus Fj V is equals to Rj delta V, right. Now dividing this equation both the sides with delta V, Fj V plus delta V minus Fj V divided by delta V is equals to Rj, right. Now from the definition of differential calculus, if you remember that Fx plus dx minus Fx divided by delta x, so this is delta x, this is Fx, right. If you apply limit to it, delta x tends towards 0, this would be df upon dx, right. This is the formula, right. Now we will apply limit, we will apply, like here delta x is equals to 0, so we will apply limit that this delta v is small, delta v tends towards 0, right. So the form it will become Fjv plus delta v minus Fjv divided by delta v, applying limit delta v tends towards 0 is equals to Rj, right. So this would be, this entire thing based on this formula will become df, right, dfj upon d upon delta v, right? dFj divided by delta V is equals to Rj. This is the expression for the volume. I'm sorry, this would be dV, right? This is the expression that we get that relates the rate of reaction, right, with the volume, right? dV is the volume. Or we can also write it like this: dV is equals to dFj upon Rj, right? And this Rj, this we can write it like this: dFj upon minus Rj. Why minus? Because the concentration of reactants is going down, right? When the concentration of reactants is going down, we express the rate of reaction in minus sign, right? Because finally it will become positive, right? This is we have already done in school things. These are school things, so you should remember this. If not, then you can find out, you can look at my playlist on chemical kinetics. You will find the reason for this, right? This is negative because the concentration of reactants, right, final concentration would be less, would be more, I'm sorry, the final concentration would be less, initial concentration would be more. So rate of reaction is final minus initial, which will be negative, and this, along with this negative sign, the rate become positive, because rate cannot be negative. That's why this is negative, right? So using this equation, we can find the reactor volume, right? Using this equation, we can find the reactor volume, right, for the definite amount of reactants to get converted into products, right? This is what we find, the reactor volume or the time required for the definite amount of reactants to get converted into products using mole balance equation, right? We are in this entire chapter, we are applying mole balance equations to our different reactors, right? So if you want to take an example, let's take an example where A changes into B. Let's say A isomerizes into B, so the concentration of A is going down, right? In concentration of A is going down, and the graph would be like this, right? Similarly, if you want to draw the graph in terms of B, it will go up like this, right? Concentration, here is your time, here is your time, and here is your concentration, right? So now let's say the initial is FA0 and final is FA1, right? This is the concentration at different times, right? So what you can do is you can simply apply it to the equation that we have just derived, right? dV is equals to dFj upon Rj, right? If you apply it to that equation, we'll be taking these as limits, right? We'll apply this equation here, and this is less than this, so we'll take this as lower limit, this is upper limit, right? We'll integrate this equation taking these two as limits, that will find the volume of the reactant, right? This is concentration, right? Concentration at different times. So if I apply the equation here, it will become dV is equals to dFj upon Rj, right, minus Rj. So if you integrate this equation, you get volume is equals to, integrate it from FA1 to FA0, right, minus, this is dF upon Rj, minus will come out, right? Now Rj, this is your rate of reaction, which is defined in terms of concentration. This is the concentration, this is the concentration. You can integrate this equation, right, to find, if you know the concentration of A at different times, you will get to know the reactor volume that is required to change the concentration of A, say from FA0 to FA1, right? This is what our aim, knowing the concentration at different times, right? Knowing the concentration at different times means you have find the rate of reaction. Rate of reaction is change in concentration, right? Change in concentration upon time, right? This is rate. So once you know the change in concentration, right, at different times, you can find the volume of the reactor that is required to convert FA, to convert the specified amount of reactants into products, right, which can be measured in terms of the reactants concentration at different times. I hope this is clear, right? This is the main concept that we need to understand here, is that how this one, the small reactor volume that we took, and make sure that you know that the reactants will continuously get consumed, right? Thereby concentration of reactants continuously change, which changes the rate of reaction, right? That is why we considered this small volume delta V, and in this small volume delta V we applied this mole balance equation and derived this relation, right? I hope this is clear. Now the second one is your packed bed reactor. Packed bed reactor is what? I'll just remove this. I'll just rub this. Packed bed reactor is packed bed reactor. Firstly, is used where we have these are particularly used in heterogeneous reactions, right? Heterogeneous reactions where we have a liquid and a solid phase, right? And let's say the solid phase is the catalyst, right? So when say packed bed reactor, inside the reactor you have a bed of catalyst, right? A bed on which the catalyst is fixed, right? So when reactants pass through that catalyst, they will undergo chemical reaction, right? So inside the reactor volume, let's say this is the reactor, packed bed reactor. Now we are doing packed bed reactor, right? If this is the reactor, say this is the reactor, right? And let's draw it a little nicely, right? And you have different things in the reactor. This is the coolant, right? Now inside the reactor you have these rods, just drawing a rough diagram. You can see this in your books. This is kind of a bed, right, on which catalyst is fixed, right? On this is the bed of catalyst, right? Here you have catalyst, right? So you will pass reactants from here, you will get product from the other end, right? So when these reactants, which can be liquid or it can be gas, right, when it passes through this reactor, right, what it is mainly concerned with, this solid phase, because we are in this reactor we will be mainly considering with the heterogeneous reactions that consist of more than one phase, right? So we have the solid or a liquid or a gas passing through this bed of catalyst, right? Where catalyst will catalyze the reaction between the reactants, right? And in this case we will consider the weight, we will consider the mass of catalyst, right? Like there in the previous reactions we were considering in the previous reactors we considered the volume of reactors, right? And we derived the relation between rate of reaction and volume of reactor using mole balance equation. Here instead of volume of reactor we will consider the mass of catalyst, because in this heterogeneous reaction this catalyst will lose its weight, it's slowly, right? Okay, till now we have understood that catalyst will remain as it is after the reaction, right? But in practical reactors, when you will study about catalyst, we have a very detailed study of catalysis in chemical reaction engineering that we will do in future, right? But if you want to know, you should know basic things about catalyst, that catalyst has active site, right? those active sites are what will catalyze the reaction, right? It will help reactants to react fast, right? I have a video on the active centers of catalyst that you can see. It must be flashing on in this video, so you can click that if you want to know the active site of catalyst. So it is these active sites that will reduce, right, as the reaction proceeds, right? So what we say is that the mass of catalyst is going down, right? So we will see the concentration of catalyst in terms of its active site, right? Because active sites as the reaction proceeds will become less, and this is known as deactivation of catalyst. Deactivation of catalyst we'll study in future lectures, right, when we will study catalysis in chemical reaction engineering, right? So we will apply mole balance equation now, and instead of volume we will take the mass of catalyst, right? And the reaction rate here is based on the mass of the solid catalyst, right, and not on the volume, right? Because as I said that here the mass of the catalyst which will get consumed, as I said, that the active sites will become less, right? So here the rate of reaction will depend on the mass of solid catalyst, right, W. We will take the mass as the W, and the rate of reaction will depend on the mass of the catalyst, right? So I'll just write here rate of reaction will depend on mass of catalyst, W, right? So here we will write that rate Rj is equals to, it would be, rate of reaction would be, suppose this reaction is taking place, A is changing into B, right? So moles of A, right, getting reacted, right, per second per gram of catalyst, right, per second per gram of catalyst. This is important that you need to understand for packed bed reactors. This is the difference, right, that we are not considering the reactor volume, but we are considering the catalyst, right? So finally when we'll derive the expression, right, the expression would be between the weight of the catalyst or the mass of the catalyst and the rate of reaction, right? So here once you know the rate of reaction, you can find how much of the catalyst is required, right? You can do that kind of a relation you will get here. So the mole balance equations here also, like we have done in the previous tubular reactor, here also when the reactants will pass through this reactor, their concentration will continuously change, right? When concentration will change, right, so instead of, since here we are not considering volume, we are considering the mass of catalyst, right? So we will consider like this, since the concentration of reactants will go down, so instead of considering the weight, the volume, we will consider delta W, mass of the catalyst, right? Here it is W, here it is W plus dW, right? Then we will apply everything from derivative perspective will remain the same, right? So in this volume we will take it as FJW, out would be FJ W plus dW, right? So mole balance equation would be in minus out plus generation, right? Let's write it like this, right? Rj dV is equals to rate of accumulation dN upon dt, right? So here it would be earlier it was, we will find it like this, or this from 0 to delta W Rj, right? Here we will consider it as dW, right? So dW, it will be Rj and delta W. This is the expression for generation, and this would be 0, right? So it would be like this, F JW minus F